I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ, 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 Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk, and I'm not a jerk. Apparently, I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. That's my new song. That's my opening tune. 40-year-old boy podcast. Bonk. I need a bonk in there. I need a noise like a sound effect. Like, when Fred Flintstone runs and it makes that like that. I just want one of those noises for at the end of that song. So it'll be like 40-year-old boy podcast. Doink. Like if you were hitting somebody on the head with a cartoon mallet. I don't know how you would hit them with a cartoon mallet. Who draws a mallet and hits somebody with it? That would make no sense at all. Perhaps if you built a mallet out of paper mache and then you put a sound effects machine in the end of it. That would hurt. That would knock somebody the fuck out. You don't want to do that. Who wants to get hit with a cartoon mallet that's real? I don't. Hi, this is the 40-year-old boy podcast. I'm here with our friend Lily Von Stupp. She is the producer of said show and the brains of the outfit. And also, I'm assuming she's uncomfortable. She's sitting, her pants are unzipped and have been for a couple of minutes. And I don't know. Oh, you have a pin in there. Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was. I was just, I looked over and I saw like open zip and I'm like, oh, hi, how we doing? I thought there was going to be business about to pick up, but it didn't, thankfully. But now I know there's a pin and the jeans are squared away. And so good. I was sitting here and it was funny. I had to go use the restroom but I was going to conduct like an experiment because I even said, I was like, I need to use the restroom, but I don't know if I should, because I was going to see what if I did a whole show having to go to the restroom. Like, would it enhance the show? Would it make the show go quicker because I had to get it over with, or would it make? I don't know how that would work. Like, so I was. Listen, folks, I'm taxing the physical limits of human experience here for this show. I'm pushing it as far as I possibly can. This show is the verbal equivalent of swimming the English Channel. Which is not an image that I want to have if I had to go to the restroom, because then I'd be thinking about water and I'd be submerged, and then we'd have to pin my zipper closed so I didn't fucking go off like a fire hose all over the goddamn kitchen. And it is a kitchen. Please don't kid yourself, folks. This is where the show is done, in a very professional atmosphere in a kitchen. And my producer, by the way, is now looking at photographs that she's got on a different table. Like, she's tuned out of this goddamn show 2 minutes in, not even 2 minutes in. She's gone ahead and started to gaze longingly at stripper photos. All right. And I don't blame her. I got to be honest. Who wants to look at me in my Calvin Klein jacket? Wouldn't they? And by the way, it's like a sweater. It's not like, that's not a bad Calvin Klein jacket. Like, I went ahead and I have like the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat on. It's not that big a deal. It's like a gray windbreaker, would you say? I wouldn't say. I don't know what it would be. It's made of a cloth. It's a golfing sweater almost, but it's got a zipper. I don't know what the fuck it is. Who knows clothes? Folks, I'm not. I'm usually sartorially splendid, but not this week. I must tell you, I am clad in sweater. Oh, fuck that! I look great because I got a show tonight, and by a show, I am going to an open mic, a first one I've ever been to. I had to write this guy and ask. Sometimes open mics, you show up and you sign a sheet of paper, and then they put everybody in a fucking hat and they pull out names, because that's how you want to go ahead and conduct a show, as if you're at a carnival giving away prizes. That's the way it is. That's how valuable 5 minutes of stage time is in Los Angeles. People write their names on scraps of paper and put them into a derby. And then they get them pulled out. You might as well literally just pull up a stool and shoot a fucking water gun into a clown's mouth and hope the balloon explodes so you can bring home a cookie monster. But this show is a show that you need to email ahead of time. You have to actually write a guy. You okay? What happened there? Cookie Monster do it for you? All right. God, I love Cookie Monster. Isn't he the best? You know what? Lily Von Stupp has one of the best ever pieces of memorabilia. If you've ever watched Sesame Street, and I know you have, folks. Some of you may do it still, honestly. I actually, romantically, I think to myself, man, I should watch more Sesame Street, because I'm a child. And then I'll put it on, and they've got so much new stuff on there. I just want to see classic Sesame Street. So I understand that's on DVD, like I can get that. So I need to get that for myself and watch old Electric Companies and old Sesame Streets and see Easy Reader. And yeah, that's right. I love Easy Reader. I love Electric Company because there's like a new Electric Company, and there's like, and it's all, there's a guy named Jamal. You know what I mean? And they're all singing. Fuck all that. I don't want to see the new Electric Company. I want to see old Electric Company. Straight up, Spider-Man. All right, so Lily Von Stupp has in her home the actual. There was a show on PBS called I, Claudius, and then they did a parody of it on Sesame Street, and on Monsterpiece Theater. Yes, on Monsterpiece Theater. It was a knockoff of course, Masterpiece Theater, and Cookie Monster starred in a production of Me, Claudius, and because Cookie Monster, me this, me that. And also C is for cookie, and that's good enough for me, folks. Let's be honest. And so he did Me, Claudius, and she has the actual set piece that is Cookie Monster, like in stained glass or tile, and it says Me, Claudius. It's fucking amazing. It's here in her house. Here in her house with her fucking ridiculous horse from a carousel and every other piece of bullshit she's got in here. And her Marilyn Monroe plate and her Blondie clock. Good Christ. I thought I had a bunch of shit in my house, but mine is just like books and boring nonsense. I come in here and there's like a leopard skin vibrator and a cat in a bag. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I can't compete with this. What is that? A plate of cookies next to an old time radio from the 30s? Fantastic. What am I, trapped in a basement with Tim Robbins and War of the Worlds? Get me the fuck out of here. Jesus God, what do you have in this house? 9 laptops and a fucking pull bag and a goddamn stuffed gargoyle and a fucking pivoting vacuum. Good God. And the best part of it is, it's all out. That's the thing. It's not like I'm walking around the house opening doors to fucking name shit. It's literally all out in the kitchen. I'm looking at I'm out in my eye line right now. There are 2 feather boas. Like I said, the aforementioned plate of cookies, 4 bottles of wine, 5 empty pizza boxes, a thing of luggage, and a fog machine. A fog machine. Not even like, hey, what is that? It's in a box marked fog machine. And you know what it comes with, folks? Fog machine includes 16 ounces fog juice. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I want to drink it or pour it in there and get a nice mist going in here. I don't know if I want to do this show fucking Hound of the Baskerville style and crank that fucking baby up. Let's do it. You know what? We should do that next time. I'll get the fog machine rolling and I'll come out here like goddamn Loverboy. That's what I'll do. Fog juice. That's what the people at Fog Machine Inc. decided to call their ingredients. Look, we can't let you know about the secret formula. God knows it's hard enough to make fog in a jar. You folks should be baffled by what we've put together, so we're going to head and just call it fog juice. You know what? That's like one time I went into an adult bookstore, and they had, they got lubes. I don't know if you know what lubes are, folks, but they're, it's like a slidey thing. There they are. They're in my eye line. There they are right here. That's what lubes are. But in this particular, I think I even mentioned this on another show. They had lubes, and they had, wet and, Ramboy, whatever the fuck they had, all these different lubes, and you went down the line. And, they were decreasing in quality as you went. So you're going down the line, and there's like Astroglide, and then Wet, and then KY, and then Pennzoil, and then Crisco. And finally, at the end of the line, there's just this tiny bottle. It's about the size of, those things that you pull on New Year's and it makes a big bang and like streamers shoot out. It was the size of that, okay? And all it was a jar. It was a see-through glass jar filled with white liquid and in black letters, hand job. That's all it said right there in the jar. Hand job. Certainly no question about what you're buying that product for. I assume it was a goof, because like I said, when I used to work in an adult bookstore, they would have goof products too, which they would put out for bachelor parties. So then bachelors would come in and go, oh, dude, look, an inflatable sheep that he can fuck. That's hysterical. I'm going to go in the booth for an hour. I'll be out in, seriously an hour, but, so it was an excuse for guys to come in and run off a batch. So, what was I talking about? Your house. It's funny, Lily has a sheet of paper usually that she writes down the minutes and then she holds them up to me. And on this piece of paper, she actually wrote up to 70 minutes. Folks, let's hope this show doesn't go 70 minutes. I often think that it won't, and then somehow it does. And that's a disappointment to us all, quite frankly, around minute 58. But yeah, 70 minutes. That's long. I don't know if I want to do anything for 70 minutes. Anything that doesn't include a fog machine. Let's put it that way. I'm going to need a fog machine if I'm going to move on and have I'm not kidding about the carousel horse, by the way. Literally a life-size ceramic or whatever the porcelain or made out of glass or whatever the hell that is. Drywall. What is it?
It's a fiberglass.
Fiberglass. That's what that is. Fiberglass carousel horse. Literally right here. Insane. And she keeps talking about like getting rid of it. Like, I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't know what that even means. Like, how do you get rid of that? Like, do you leave it on the fucking curb? I think a news crew would come out if you left that on the curb. That just seems like the kind of thing you can't dump. You got to sell that to some guy with a weird fetish. You know what I mean? Or there's got to be some pedophile in the market for a goddamn carousel horse, right? Some guy who's just like, you know what? If I put this in the den, I would never have to trap kids in the van again. I would just leave the window open. Some kid would happen by and go, "What's that, a unicorn?" "Yes, of course it is. Come in. You want to pet it?" "Of course you do." I've now advocated for pedophiles. So if you're a pedophile and you're interested in a carousel horse, go ahead and write her. Lily at burlesque411.com. If you want to go ahead and try to trap some kid, then that's your move. You need this carousel horse. That's not nice.
No, mock everything I own. It's fine.
Oh man, I was driving here today. This is crazy. I'm driving, and I've been here before. I've taken the same route all the time to get here to the Lily house, and I'm driving, and I swear to God, this happens. I'm driving, and I look, and on the side of the road, there's two Japanese girls walking, and they're in schoolgirl outfits, eating frozen yogurt. I'm not kidding. They're carrying, and they have like frozen yogurts on, wearing schoolgirl outfits, the fucking skirts and the socks. It looked like Gogo Yubari is walking around eating yogurt with a friend. And it's I remember I thought to myself, I'm like, I've been this route many, many times. I think I may have driven onto the internet. I don't know if that's even possible, but I think somehow I have been to Lily's house many times, and somehow there's been a detour and I am on Anime Boulevard. I don't know how that happened, but somehow my car has driven directly onto the internet. And then then I'm looking around going, all right, I've got to be able to turn onto Hentai Avenue at some point, right? Because I need to see a chick getting fucked by an octopus. Stat. God damn, there's got to be tentacle porn somewhere on this block. Two Japanese girls in schoolgirl outfits eating frozen yogurt. I mean, they should have had just a thought bubble around them and an old man underneath them. That's what they needed. Holy God. Oh, it's exciting, folks. I had a big week. Worked. I went and did Lily's show. I did the burlesque show on Monday. I did at Monday Night Tees. I wanted to say at Burlesque 411. That's right. Well, again, I was on the internet. I drove my car right there, parked, did a show at burlesque411.com. We did Lily's show. It was a huge success, a big hit, and sort of a big hit. I'm not going to lie to you. I got in trouble at the show because my wife came with me to this show, and I'm a fan. I enjoy Karen and her work. And she came to the show, and Lily's, let me tell you about the burlesque show. It is not really a stand-up show, okay? I certainly do some jokes up top. I mean, I'll go ahead and mention some material and have a little fun. But mainly the show it's fucking whipping a chair time. It's literally babysitting because there's a room full of people who are waiting to see tits. And I don't blame them, because I'm waiting too. Half the time, I'm up on stage doing material and then just going, man, will you shut the fuck up? There's breasts involved. Breasts ahoy, friend. And so then I'll clam it up. But at this show, when the girls leave the stage, I go up after them and I'll remark about how handsome they might be. I like a handsome woman. So I made a comment. I called someone my burlesque girlfriend. And it was just a general attitude all night long, where I would do that after a girl and I'd be like, that was great or whatever, and I would be complimentary about someone's appearance. And at intermission of said show, my wife, I went to go find her, and she was out back smoking, because that's when you're angry at somebody, the first thing you want to do is get cancer. So she goes out in the back, and I go into the back of the club, and I go, hey, what's up? And she goes, oh, I don't know, what's up with you? And already I know there's a problem. It's like, let me put it this way. If you've ever been with if you've dated somebody for a long amount of time, I've been with my wife since '93, so we're looking at 16 years in 3 weeks, actually. March 13th is the day we met, so it's that's the 16th year. We celebrate, folks. We celebrate all of it. We celebrate the day we met, and then we celebrate a wedding anniversary. Yes, well, more shows like Monday, and I'm not going to be fucking celebrating anything. Because then I go up to her and I go, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, I'm fine. How are you? What's going on? Like that weird chick thing where they just like get that, you know, that they're pissed, but they're trying to pretend that they're not pissed, but they still want you to know that they're pissed. And I go, what? What are you mad about? And she goes, I'm not mad. What do you mean mad? I'm not mad. I go, Jesus Christ. And this is my go-to thing all the time now whenever we have an argument or whenever she cops out of something. I go, I've known you for 16 years. Literally, more than 1/4 of my life has been spent with you in a house or a car or a room or within general proximity of you and your anger and your, you know, and I've given her many reasons to flash that at me. Okay, I get that. I mean, I'm certainly owning all of my. I'm responsible for most of it. I get that. But it just goes, what are you talking about? I'm not upset. And I go, I've been with you 16 years. I know when you're pissed off. Will you just tell me what you're mad about? Nothing, Michael. I guess, you know, that's fine. If you just want to, and I just went, and I go, son, you know what? I'm in the middle of a fucking show. I mean, you know, granted, it doesn't seem like work to some people or whatever, but this is kind of work. I mean, this is my job. It's like, I don't, you know, literally, if I were to show up at one of your jobs and then just start a fight with you in the middle of the day, wouldn't you be pissed at me? Of course you would. So then I turned around, and here's what Mike does, of course, because this is Mike. I just fucking blasted the side of the building like a forearm shiver, just a shot, and it was here was the best part, dude. There was like a corrugated metal fence on it or something around the side of the building, and it made the loudest fucking noise in the world, and it was awesome. It could not have been more satisfying if it was actually me elbowing a guy in the face. I mean, it was just the greatest feeling because I was just like, God, seriously? We're going to have this fucking conversation now? Fine. Wham! And this huge noise. And it was great. It was just like, and you know, if you've ever done that, folks, where you've punched a hole in a wall or a door, I don't know why you would have. You're not me. But that's happened. And I will tell you, punching a hole in a wall or a door always has a twofold effect. The first thing is this immense satisfaction that you just punched a hole in a door. You're just like, Jesus, I am a badass. I can't believe I just put my fist right through a fucking door. How great am I? Followed closely on its heels by the shame of, oh, I just punched a hole in a fucking door. What is wrong with me? I punched a hole in a comedy club wall once and got banned for a while. When I first started doing stand-up, yeah, that's right. These issues go back. Hard to believe I haven't changed, huh, folks? At 18 years? Is it 18 years? Only 2009, 91? Holy fuck, I've been doing stand-up for 18 years. And by doing stand-up, I mean I've been on the periphery of the stand-up world because I haven't done it in like 8 months. I have. Well, I did it the other night, but that wasn't really stand-up, as we've mentioned. That was just more me elbowing a wall. So, I used to work at a place called the Laugh Stop in Newport Beach. And Newport Beach, California, when I first started doing stand-up in 1991, and I would be an MC. And what it was at the beginning of the month, you would get MC dates for the month. And then they had a zoo night on Tuesday night, which was like 15 comics, so you would try to get on there. So I would usually get like 4 MC nights a month, 4 or 5, and then I would get on the zoo nights. So it was good, and then you know, obviously you're working other places as well, but doing it at the Laugh Stop was really cool because it was an actual club. So I went on stage. It was right after Michael Landon died. So I mean, I don't know the date, but it was literally the day after. And I went up on stage and I said, folks, you know what? It finally happened yesterday. The clock struck 12. The ball landed in Times Square. Michael Landon finally died yesterday or left this planet. And it's because Michael Landon had been on like the Tonight Show and he'd been going on this death tour of like, giving interviews. And I found it a little hypocritical and creepy. But most other people were like, oh, I can't believe Paw is dying. But I looked at it from the view of, who's this fucking old man? And so I said, yeah, the balls landed in Times Square. Michael Landon finally ate it yesterday, folks. And I was met by universal silence. And then I went, you know what? I know, granted, the guy's a television star and he's a movie star, but Jesus Christ, do we have to see him telling us how he's going to die on every goddamn talk show? Believe me, my grandfather died of cancer. Johnny Carson did not speak to him once. Followed by more silence. That laugh you just heard, more than I got this entire bit 18 years ago. And still, that silence just deafening. And again, I open with this because I'm a genius. And and then I said, and I go, the worst part of it is, when you had Michael Landon on these shows, he was talking about alternative medicines. So I never thought I would see the day where I had to sit through the dad from Little House on the Prairie telling Johnny Carson about coffee enemas, and everybody nodding approvingly. I said, if fucking Madonna goes on the Tonight Show and starts talking about coffee enemas, she's got 9 church groups picketing her at a fucking concert. More silence. So then I went into my the rest of my act after my new stuff did so well. And it went okay, kind of hit or miss, because again, I'm new. This is my first year doing stand-up, so I'm swimming in shit, but I still do okay. And I walk off stage, and I'm so fucking mad. I walk through the crowd. I walk to go, because you would normally go outside, because there was you'd go to talk to other comics would hang out front. So I go walking out, and as I walk through, I just fucking fire a right hand at the wall, and I'm in up to my wrist. I just because I'm so fucking mad. I can't believe I fucking bombed, and it fucking went unbelievable. I just fucking wham, and then boom, my arm goes into the wall, and to the point, and it made a noise. The other comics on stage, I mean, it was just fucking dumb, folks. And again, it's followed by it's got this twofold effect. And again, this is me. This is my tiny brain, and I understand this is how it works. But it's that whole that's gonna be a problem because I just fucking punched a hole in the wall of the club, and then part of me is like, man, I look like a fucking badass to everybody in this club. Because they're just like, Jesus, I can't believe, and again, 6'2", 300 pounds. If you can't punch your hand through a wall, what can you do, folks? Seriously, walls are meant to be blasted. They're not really. You shouldn't do that, folks. Don't ever do that. I told you, I've done all sorts of stupid shit. I ran my head into a pool table once. Don't do these things. But, so I punched my hand. So then the comedy club, the show ends. And end of the night, I didn't say anything, but the bartender mentioned it. He's like, that happened? Yeah, that happened. And then the next day, Karen, the woman who booked the club, called me, and she's like, hey, we're going to have to suspend you for the month. I said, yeah. I go, do you want me to pay for the wall? She goes, no, it's not that big a deal, but we'll take care of it, but you can't come back for a month. And it wasn't even Karen's decision. It was the other woman. I can't remember her name, but she was the kind of the bigger boss. But she was like, yeah, Mike's off for a month. Okay, good. So yeah, but again, there's that weird rush of how great was that? Oh, that's awful. That happened. We were at where were we? Oh, I was at Karen's house, at Karen's mom's house.
Oh, shit.
Same thing. Stupid. This is when we were moving. Before we moved to California, we had given up our apartment in September 1st. So we had to live somewhere for the month of September before we left October 1st for LA in 1998. So we wound up staying with her brother for a while. Like all of our stuff was kind of in a garage, one of her sister's garage, and we were just waiting to move. We were all packed and we couldn't go till October 1st. So we wound up flying to LA and finding an apartment and getting all that squared away. So whatever, we're at her house and it's me and her, and it's at this is the house she grew up in, her parents' house. And we're there alone one day, and we wind up having an argument about something. And again, it was something stupid, just like Monday night. Because again, Monday night was the whole, you're saying jokes I don't like, and then I punch a fence. Because this is what happens when you don't have children, folks. You are perpetually in high school for the rest of your life, and you argue about little things that you would argue about in the hallway at your school. You know what I mean? I'm breaking up with you. We're not going to prom. I can't believe you're talking about that stripper. All the things that you would mention in high school. And so we were at her mom's house. And we wound up in an argument or something, and I remember this. I was naked. I was completely naked. We had just, there's nothing better than fighting naked too, by the way. That's always a lot of fun. Whenever we're having an argument, I like to go ancient Greece. I like to just strip completely down and just fucking let it all hang and then and yell. Because then I find it takes the edge off a little bit. You can say whatever you want. You can be as much of a jagoff as you want, because you know what? If everything's swinging around, then you're kind of funny. So it's like fighting with an elephant. You can't do that. They're cute. So I'm naked in her house, and we're yelling and having a fight. And I turn around again, the house she grew up in, her family's house. Nobody's there, just me and her. Nobody's there. Of course not. I'm naked. Her whole family's there. This is what led to this terrible event. No. So I turn around and I just go, God damn, what the and I punch the wall, and I cave in a fucking wall at her parents' house. Not even like, I'm not even up to the wrist. I'm in up to the shoulder. Like it's this crazy, like I punch and like it's like in the movies when in Shawshank, when they ripped through the Rita Hayworth poster and his arm went all the way into the fucking wall. That's what I look like. I'm just like, I'm submerged. And then you just stand there. And again, part of you, most of you is shamed. Most of you is like, oh, I can't believe I just fucking did this. I mean, this is, because it's complete destruction. It wasn't even, but then there's part of me that went, I just fucking destroyed this whole wall. This is awesome. There's a show right now on like G4 or something where guys destroy a house just by running into walls and smashing into shit. And I watch it and I'm like, God damn it, why am I not on that show? That would be hysterical. I've been doing that for free. So I punch my whole fist through this wall and then wind up, like, my whole body cavity is in the wall at that point. And it's that weird thing where the fight is over. Okay. I stop talking. She hears the noise because she's in the bedroom. She doesn't know what the fuck just happened. She just hears this, and I just go, oh no. And she walks out and she's like, Michael, what did you do? And I said, it was an accident. And she's like, oh my God. I mean, it was huge, folks. It might have been, I'm going to say 2 feet by 2.5 feet of this hole. Just this huge hole in the wall of her parents' house. The guy, by the way, I married her like a month before or whatever, just literally, we've been married for 2.5 weeks and this happens. And they didn't like me to begin with, folks. Her mom didn't anyway. Her dad, he's a nice guy and he understands. But her mom is, I'm iffy from the jump with her. And now I'm bringing the house to its knees. So I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened here? So immediately, I've learned this as a kid. When I was a kid, me and my 4 brothers would be home alone all the time, and we would constantly break shit. I mean, like, we would just destroy, again, it's 5 boys under one roof. Here's something that happened once when we were kids. We were... I don't know if I told the story. I hope I didn't. My mom one time, my mom would get, she would have these black moods. I mean, like, she would be really just slamming cabinets to the point where now I can't hear cabinets slamming because I get upset. I get physically sick because I think of my mom fuming and just the pallor just cast over the house, the pall cast over the house by my mom. So as kids, one time she needed her keys. And her keys were gone. And she's fucking furious that her keys are gone. She's like, you better find my fucking keys. Where the fuck are my keys? And she's all pissed. And finally she's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go next door. You better have my fucking keys by the time I get back. So she splits and she goes next door to our friend Carol's house. So mom's over there. So we're like, where are the keys, idiot? I don't know. Where are the keys, jerk? And so we wind up pushing each other and wrestling and having fun. Nobody, dude, what if you can't find the keys? Just being stupid. Because like that's what 5 boys would do. So, again, at the time I'm 11 probably, and my brother's like 13. So, and all 5 of us are tearing apart the house looking for the goddamn keys. Like, we have no idea where they're at. I don't know. And again, we don't even know why we're the keepers of the keys. Like, my mom drives the fucking car. I'm 11. How the fuck am I supposed to know where the goddamn keys are? You know what? Why don't you keep track of them, Ma? How about you do that? And you don't fucking dump it all on your 5 kids. I understand you work hard. I understand you work 50 hours a week to try to raise the 5 of us. But Jesus, God, how the fuck am I supposed to keep track of every knickknack you bring into the goddamn house? So we're looking all over the house for the fucking keys, and we had this really small kitchen, and kitchen tables in the middle of the kitchen, and there's like washer and dryer were also in the kitchen, laundry's on the floor, and we're looking all over the place, and then it turns into a weird wrestling match. Like my brother and I start wrestling, and we're fucking around, and we're like, ha ha ha, what's going on? And then like my other brother gets involved, and it's just that weird like little kid thing where the tension is so high, you got to do something to blow it all off. So Lenny and I start wrestling, and we're pushing each other, and he pushes me into the fridge, and I push him into the kitchen table, and my other brother comes in, and we're laughing. And then Lenny and I start really kind of bear hug wrestling, and he lifts me. We go flying, and he lifts me up, and we trip, and we fall on the kitchen table, and we destroy it. We break the our kitchen table. Because 2 fat kids just fucking jumped and landed on it, and we hear it, just that awful wood cracking noise, like crack, crack, and the table was filled with shit because we're looking for the keys. So the table is filled with like bowls and clothes and everything. And imagine if you landed on the edge of your kitchen table and the two legs broke and you fell and everything on the table just slid and covered you. And we're fucking, like, literally we're bear hugging each other and I'm laying on the floor now on top of our destroyed kitchen table, fucking covered in bowls and cereal and all sorts of shit is just covering us. And we look at each other and it's dark because there's like a shirt over us. Like we can't even see each other's faces. And then my brother Glenn just takes the shirt off and he goes, "You guys are in trouble." And we're like, "What do you mean you guys? You were involved in this too, right?" And he's just like, "What? What?" And at the time, Glenn was only like 8, so we're trying to figure out how to pin it on Glenn. And then we look at each other, and I make eye contact with Lenny, and I just can't stop laughing. I cannot, because we're dead. I'm really thinking about where my mom is going to dump the bodies at this point, because our kitchen table is destroyed. The legs have snapped completely in half. And the house is completely messed up. And we haven't found the keys. That's the thing. Like, part of me is like, well, Mom's not going to be worried about the fucking keys now because we just destroyed the only kitchen table we've ever had. So Lenny goes, "We got to fix this." I'm like, "What the fuck? What? How the fuck are we going to fix this?" He's like, "Trust me, we can do this." So Lenny, fucking genius, gets electrical tape, duct tape, like silver duct tape. And he goes, "All right, I need you guys in here." So we call Andy and Glenn, and we hold up the table while Lenny goes underneath and he puts the legs together and he just fucking wraps this duct tape around the legs. I mean, just thick, like fucking 40 layers of duct tape around the leg. And then he does it on the other leg. And we're praying my mom does not walk in because imagine that. You know what's funny? In Pulp Fiction, there's that great scene where he's talking about what would happen if Bonnie came home, and Bonnie walks in, they're moving the body, and they just go. So in my head, I'm just thinking at the time, like, 4 kids are holding up the kitchen table, and Scott's useless. I mean, at the time he's 5. So he might have fit under the table. Like, it's on his head. It's resting on his head. So all of us are holding the table up, and Lenny's just underneath there, and that noise, that duct tape noise. He's wrapping up the fucking legs of the table. So, and he does it. Finally, my mom does not walk in. And we wrap the legs, and we just spin the table around. We lift it up. We turn it so the duct tape legs are facing the outer wall, like by the window. And it fucking worked. It worked. We didn't move from this house for like another 18 months. And then when we moved, we're walking the table out, and my mom goes, "What the fuck happened to the legs of the table?" And we're like, yeah, you don't remember that? They broke. Yeah, we fixed them. It was a while ago. Like, we just tried to gloss over it because when we were moving, moving was just this, because we moved a bunch of times as kids, and it was just this furious blur of like my mom's friends and getting high and buckets of chicken and moving furniture. So luckily we caught my mom between joints and drumsticks, and we went ahead and were able to just move the table and explain it away. And we actually kept that table for like another year or two. I mean, I don't even know why. It was a hunk of shit, and the legs were destroyed. But every time we would see it, I would fucking just like chuckle to myself, thinking of that. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I should tell you this. We fucking jump on it. We break the table. Glenn comes in. The shirt's on top of us. He pulls that, and we go to fucking fix the table. As we're fixing it, there's my mom's keys. They were on the fucking table the entire time, just amidst the shit that we had piled on the table looking for the keys. All sorts of fucking dry goods and Chex Mix and fucking boxes of cereal and all sorts of shit in that pile. That's where the fucking keys were. As we moved everything off every other surface in the house onto the kitchen table to hide the very thing we were looking for. I hated being small. Oh. I fucked a lot of things up, folks. As a kid, though, we would get experience breaking shit. So, I mean, I knew what to do all the time. So, one time we had a domino fight in my house. Oh, my God, it was, when I say, when I say we had a domino fight, that's being generous. The fight was my 3 little brothers against me and Lenny. and they had to hide in the bedroom behind like mattresses while we whipped dominoes at them. This was in an apartment. This is after we moved out of Romeoville. This is when we lived in our apartment in Bolingbrook. And it just was one of those things that escalated. Where again, we were fucking around and we were playing. We were playing. We were playing a game called Night Fight. Okay, and not night like Knight. It was Night Fight. It was like you would just turn the lights out and just start fucking swinging. Like it was 5 kids just. And again, I must tell you, I think 3 of the kids were not excited about this game. Lenny and I loved Night Fight, but I don't think my other brothers really enjoyed it because it was just the lights were out and you just started running into one another and like moshing and punching in the dark. So we're playing Night Fight, and then what was really funny is then the young ones premiered like 4 years later. I saw it, and Vivian said he wanted to play Murder in the Dark, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's just like Night Fight. So we're playing Night Fight one night, and it's my mom is off, with one of her boyfriends. My mom. There was this guy named Bob, and he would call the house, and whenever he would call, all of us would make eye contact and just go, "This is it. We don't have to go to bed ever." I mean, because we knew my mom was going to go get, it was a booty call from my mom to go to Bob's house. So then we could stay up all night and do whatever the fuck we wanted. So this particular Saturday night, we were playing Night Fight, and it escalated into a crazy fight that carried over till the next morning. So we actually just passed out and went to sleep. So Night Fight ended. And as it usually ended, it ended with a bloody lip. My brother Andy wound up getting a bloody lip during Night Fight and crying and wouldn't stop crying. So we were like, I guess Night Fight is over. So the next day, we were planning, we were moving from this apartment. Again, because we moved a lot as kids. So we were packing up to move. And they were in the bedroom, my little brothers. And we found dominoes. Like there were loose dominoes for some reason all over the room. And I threw a domino at my brother Glenn and it like hit him in the head. Like, and these, dominoes are like square plastic dominoes. And it was just like, fuck, dude, why? Why are you doing that? So then they threw something back at us. And then we just started throwing everything in the room at one another because we're packing and we're so fucking stir crazy. And my mom's at work. And it turned out we just gathered up all these dominoes, Lenny and I, and we stood in the doorway of this bedroom and we whipped dominoes at my little brothers. Just fucking whipped them. And they're hiding behind the mattresses, but it's like ping, 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 ping. We're trying not to hit the window, but we're hitting the wall, we're hitting them and all this stuff. And again, that crazy laughter as kids where you're just like, wing, 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 fucking dominoes thrown it. This is fucking great. I can't believe we're throwing dominoes at one another. Bing, 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 bing. And we weren't even throwing them at one another. We were basically burying my brothers in fucking dominoes. I mean, just absolutely. And I mean, like, they're raising welts. I mean, it's bad. We're throwing, dominoes are little. They're like rubber bullets. Is essentially, if you go to stop a riot with a rubber bullet, that's what a domino's like, but with an edge. So we're fucking whipping them at my brothers, and they're just taking it at that point. Now, it's not even a fight, because for them to throw them at us, they would have to stand up. So they're just behind the mattress, and we're just whipping them. And then finally, again, as most of those things usually did, it ended in exhaustion, where you just collapsed from laughing and throwing shit. You're like, that's fucking hysterical. Oh, dude. Oh, all right, well, we got to get this fucking packed up, or Mom's going to kill us. So we start to pack up everything in the bedroom, and we kind of move the mattresses into the living room. And it dawns on us that dominoes, in addition to raising welts and hurting your little brothers, they don't exactly do favors to the wall. We look at the bedroom walls, and they look like a golf course after like 50 golfers came through and didn't replace their divots. Like it is. The wall looks like a shitty golf course filled with cleat marks. It looks like someone with football spikes. It looks like, you know what it does? It looks like Gene Kelly danced up the walls, or Donald O'Connor ran up the walls wearing fucking football cleats. It is black smudges and holes throughout both walls in this bedroom where we were whipping the dominoes. And we're just looking at it like, oh, we're moving. This is an apartment. Like, my mom's got to get a deposit back. What the fuck? So we're just like, we're fucked, and there's no way to fix that. Like, what do you do? I can't spackle the shit out of that wall. I don't know how. Again, I'm 13. All I know, you know what I know how to do? Throw fucking dominoes. That's what I know how to do. So my little brothers, already are bleeding and are sad, And then they see the wall, and we're just like, all right, well, we got to think of a story. And they're like, why do we got to think of a story? Here's our story. We laid there while you threw shit at us, you jagoffs. So we wind up packing up. And luckily, my mom never went into rooms. Like, my mom didn't fucking care. All she did was, like, she made a cursory walkthrough at the end of when we packed everything. And then she was like, what the fuck happened in here? I don't know. I think we may, and here's my favorite one. I think we might have hit it with the bed frame on the way out. Really? Like, because it looks like you were storming the castle and banging the fucking bed frame into it to try to knock the goddamn wall down. But my mom was just like, whatever. So we left. But again, there's that weird rush of, oh, this is terrible. Hey, this is great. And that's what happened at Karen's parents' house. I'm shoulder deep in the wall. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. What are we gonna do? And and luckily, this is, again, we're married, so her breaking up with me is not something she can do at that point, I suppose. We've already got our tickets to L.A. So she says, you know what? I'm gonna call Michael, which is her brother, and because he is a man, and he knows how to fix things, because I fucking don't. So he, sure enough, he comes over and he's like, what happened? And we had to concoct a story where I tripped. Like, I tripped and tried to catch myself, and my momentum carried me through the entire wall. And Michael, to his credit, just kind of, I guess, went along with it. And when I can fix this, and did fixed the wall. How do you do that? I don't have any clue. I know how to break shit. I can't fix anything. But he did, man. He said he drywalled it or whatever the fuck he did, and fixed it. And the only thing he didn't do was he didn't get to paint it. And her parents were like coming home. It was like like the end of Ferris Bueller, where Ferris is like running through the streets trying to get home. Well, so he didn't get to paint it. So I'm like, well, I'll paint it. Even though I don't know what the fuck how to paint. And we go get paint that matches, and then I painted the wall as best I could, and we prayed it would dry by the time her parents got home, because they were gone for 2 days. And then they came over, and like, I think it was still wet, but then I'm like, well, just don't touch the goddamn wall. You know what I mean? I don't want them to lean on it or touch, because again, that's all I need is for her dad to come in and like lean on the wall, and then he goes through up to his shoulder. Although maybe that would have been better, because then I could have looked at him and gone, what did you do? How did you bust that wall, Mister? Oh, I can't believe you did that. I almost said his last name there. That's not good. Yeah, so that's me breaking shit. And why did that even come up? How did that start? I talked about breaking, punching the club. Yeah, I got in trouble at Burlesque. And, but man, it made a great noise, boy. Oh, Jesus, did it make a great noise. And then later on, Karen's like, the security guard came around the corner and to see what was going on. And I'm like, well, so? I mean, he didn't exactly tackle me, and he wasn't exactly fleet of foot, because I banged my fucking arm into it, and then I was inside the club before anything happened. But so there you go. So, but that's what happens when you don't have kids, man. You're 40 and two 40-year-olds fighting over jokes in a parking lot. That's what the fuck you get. Because we're not raising any children or trying to pass on any good traits to anybody. Which is good, because if I had, there were small versions of me, that would be bad. Just because seriously, if I hated being small, I can't imagine trying to deal with small me's. Like, I mean, I would just be. I'd be my mom. I would just be like, all right, you better find my fucking keys. I'll be back in a week. And I would leave. And then pray that, little Schmitty got his business taken care of and found my goddamn keys. I like kids, but I don't think I could have them. That would be bad. I would just teach them bad things. I used to think about that. Like, because my dad was a fucking chump. My dad took he was not a good guy. And so then I'm like, well, how can I be a dad? Like, I don't know how I could be a dad. But I can do it. I can do it. It's easy. No, it's not easy. All right. What's not easy is not raising a kid. Because look what happens. Kid winds up punching holes in walls and thinking it's great. Oh, Black Cherry Propel, folks. I got a call from Paul. I got a call from my friend Paul Goebel last week, and he's like, dude, I'm at the Albertsons on blah, 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 and blah, 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 and I can tell you they have an entire shelf of Black Cherry Propel, the old stuff and the new stuff. So The difference is the old stuff is $1.50, whereas the new stuff is only $1, 10 for $1. But for some reason, they're selling the other one for higher, which I was stunned. So my wife went to investigate. She went to there, and because I was asleep, and she went to pick it up. And well, all right, let me tell you this: I've been drinking berry Propel, which I've mentioned. I'm furious at because it won't pick a berry. I don't like an amalgam of berries. I don't want an amalgamation of berry type liquid. I want pick a berry, god damn it. So that's why I like black cherry. Again, it's not maraschino cherry. It's not fucking Oliver cherry. Is there an Oliver cherry? I don't know. It's not wild cherry. and you know what? Play that funky music, white boy. How about that? Right in your goddamn face. So Karen goes, and so I've been drinking the berry Propel, and I looked, and I go, you know what? It's something tastes different. Like it tastes, I knew it tasted different. So I pulled out an old bottle of berry Propel, and then the new bottle, and I looked, and I figured out the fucking difference in the new Propel. First of all, they changed the bottle so it's smaller, so they're spending less on plastic. There's no more like squeeze top. And that's their big selling thing now. Like, hey, less plastic, we're safer for the environment. Really? You know what else is different? You've replaced sucrose with high fructose corn syrup. That's why it tastes like melted fucking popsicles now. So I looked, and it's funny because the calories haven't changed. Like there's still 30 calories in a bottle, but the sodium is doubled. Again, folks, I take this very seriously. Apparently, I am a guy who has to get to the bottom of it. So I go online, and I find this new black cherry. So Karen brings it home, and she finds old black cherry. There were only 10 of them. So Karen's just like, she goes, look, and the best part was she pulled it out. She goes, look, the new stuff, and she handed it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. And she goes, and the champagne. And so she bought all of the old black cherry Propels, which I'm drinking one of the old ones right now. Because, folks, this show's worth it. It's the champagne of Propels. But the old black cherry, this is so funny. The old black cherry is here, and then the new black cherry, I compared them. And again, high fructose corn syrup versus sucrose, same amount of calories, double the sodium. And guess what else they did to the new black cherry Propel? Well, they took out all of the vitamins. All of them. All they left was vitamin E, because old school Propel, which I'm looking at right now, vitamin C, 35%, vitamin E, 30%, niacin, 70%, vitamin B6, 80%, vitamin B12, 10%, pantothenic acid, 70%.
Wow.
I need pantothenic acid, folks. So all I do is I drink 2 Propels, boom, I get all the pantothenic acid I need for the day. I've got even a surplus of it. Right now I'm dripping with pantothenic acid, courtesy of the champagne of Propels. But the old one, you know what it has? Vitamin E, 30%, that's it. They took out every other fucking vitamin. What are you thinking? So they streamlined the plastic. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up a champagne bottle, and I'm going to open up the new bottle, and I'm going to pour them and see if there's the same amount of Propel. Because it says it weighs the same, but the bottle might weigh different. You know what I mean? I think somehow there might be a liquid transference problem here. I refuse to be fucking suckered by the Propel guys. They will not pull the goddamn Propel wool over my eyes. So yeah, but that's the deal. It's high fructose corn syrup and no vitamins. Like they made it unhealthy. They took the Propel and fucked me with it. God damn it. So now I have to drink like berry and but I will tell you this: the berry Propel and the lemon Propel still have the vitamins in the new bottle. The only one they took the vitamins out of was the black cherry. I don't know what the logic is. Then they have like a peach mango that they fuse together like Nazis. They took the mango and the peach and they fucking mangled them together and made one fucking flavor and doubled the calories and put fiber in it. What the fuck are you thinking? Nobody wants fiber from their juice. You jagoffs. What was this huge upturn over at Propel Inc.? I don't know what happened to these jagoffs. Again, and it's funny because Gatorade owns them. Pepsi owns Gatorade. This goes right to the top, folks. And you know Pepsi's got that new logo that looks like the Obama change in hope symbol. I blame him. This is fucking Obama's fault. Black president, black cherry. Connect the fucking dots, folks. I won't stand for this. I can't believe I voted for this guy and he's fucking with my favorite juice. And I know Propel's not juice. It's a water, it's a fit water, it's a beverage, whatever you want to call it. There's not a speck of juice in it. But you know what is in this bottle? Lies. This is a bottle full of fucking high fructose corn syrup and lies. And yet I consume them. I swallow these lies every goddamn day. Obama, you prick. Why do you ruin my snack time? So that's that, folks. So now I got a bottle of champagne here. I brought a second one as a backup, just in case. You never know. I might get a little parched during the show. But again, I mentioned the restroom debacle earlier. I don't want to drink 2 bottles and then have to take a break in the middle of it. I like the idea of the urgency, the urgent bladder throughout the show. I'll try that once. It'll be like 24. We'll have like a beep, 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 and I'll sit here with like a full bladder the whole show. That's a good plan. This podcast just became exciting. It was just a guy talking for a while. I mean, it was a guy hoping not to get to the 70-minute mark on the goddamn slip of paper his producer's wielding. Now it's turned into an adventure series. I'm taking on a president. I'm exposing corporate fraud. I'm racing against time against a bladder that might explode. I'm punching walls. Jesus Christ, this is an action show. Explicit with a capital fucking E, folks. This show is great. Man, I am good. I'm really good. 49 of these. I think I've got 49 under my belt. It's time to fucking do business here. Let's make this show good together. And by together, I mean you aren't involved at all. Here's something that my wife did that was funny. We were in the sushi restaurant yesterday, enjoying some sushi. Budget sushi. It was, please don't yell at me. So I'm eating, and my wife, this was so weird. There was these 3 women came in, and they were older, elegant women. They were nice women. But for some reason, they sat we didn't sit at the sushi bar yesterday. We had to sit at a table. Because, get this, we walk into this fucking sushi bar yesterday, and there's an empty chair, 2 people sitting, 2 empty chairs, and a man sitting. So they wanted to put us in the 2 empty chairs between the couple and the man. Well, I'm a big dude, and it was kind of constricting. It was a little, I'm not going to lie to you, it was streamlined. It was a very small space. And I don't want to make my wife upset as I wield my chopstick arm and I elbow her in the fucking temple. That's not good for anybody. So, because she always sits on my right, and she sleeps on my right. My wife is always on my right. At the movies, at a restaurant, or in bed. She will consistently be on my right-hand side. That's the way I like it. That's the way I demand it. So we're in the sushi house, and we go to sit down, and nobody moves. Like, nobody makes any room for Fatty. Nobody's like, oh, I better let this guy sit down or scooch over a little bit. There's emptiness all around. It is. It's like it's like a Moody Blues song. It's like the Knights in White Satin song, folks. There's just the gathering gloom is all over us. So I go to sit down, and as you know, I am a guy who I make it very obvious when I'm unhappy. And unfortunately, right by the sushi bar, no walls to punch a hole through. So I just look at Karen, and the guy's like, here, you can sit here. And I'm like, I probably can't sit there. And nobody scooches over. And I look at Karen, and I just walk out. I leave the sushi bar, even though I really wanted to eat that sushi because I liked it, and it's an all-you-can-eat joint, and I was really, Karen and I were hungry. And the waiter goes, so are you taking a table then? What do you got? And I'm just walking out. I left. I don't even, and poor Karen is left behind with the mop to deal with the goddamn mess of the emotional hurricane that just fucking swept out of the sushi bar. So I go walking outside, and then she walks out with me, and my wife, to her credit, she's very nice. She just walks out and just is, she goes, well, where are we going now? And she's very bright and lovely. And I go, you know what, I really wanted to eat in there. She goes, well, let's go back in there. I go, you know what, though? I just don't, because here's why I was really upset. Remember how I said there was an empty chair, a couple, 2 empty chairs, and a guy? We've been to this sushi bar many times. The guy sitting alone eating at the sushi bar is the owner of the sushi bar. And he doesn't get up to make room for customers? You fucking hump? Are you kidding me? I hope you enjoy your uni, because you just lost $50. I hope you enjoy that quail egg shooter because I'm walking out the goddamn door, Mr. Roboto. There's certainly no domo arigato about it. I'm leaving. So I'm in the parking lot, and then I said to Karen, I go, I really want to go in there. And she's like, well, then why don't we just go in there? And I decide, you know what, be grown up and go. Why would you? All you're punishing, I've come to a realization, the only person I'm punishing is me and Karen. Of course, Karen is getting punished. And so in my head, I go, be nice to your wife. She wanted to come here. Just go sit down. Who cares? So I did. We walked in, and I sat at a table. Usually I refuse, and I usually sit at the sushi bar. But you know what? I said, let's sit at a table, and this will be fine. And we did. We sat at a table, ordered some food. Everything was delicious. So then these women come in, 3 women, and they're very elegant, and they were very nice. And they sit down at a 4-top. We're at a 2-top. They sit almost directly across from us at a 4-top. And for some reason, they keep looking at us. like they keep looking at me, and I don't know. I think they're just checking out the sushi because in a sushi bar you always look to see what people are eating or what they order. And Karen is sitting there, and I kind of give her the fucking ventriloquist, and I'm like, these women keep looking at us. I don't know why. It's weird. They keep turning around. They're looking at the sushi, right? They must be, because that's my ventriloquist voice. And which, by the way, I'm sure fooled these ladies to no end. They're literally. I could reach out and tap one on the shoulder. I'm sure she didn't fucking hear me at all. So she's there, they're eating, and they keep looking over at us. And then I said to Karen, I go, they keep looking. And she goes, are they looking now? And I go, yeah. And Karen, I don't know why, she goes, oh, and she coughs, like she legitimately coughed. And she goes, pussy. She does that thing like you do in detention. Like when you cough and you go, bullshit, bullshit. I don't know what led her to do it. I don't know why she thought it was the thing to do. But she just goes, pussy. These four women, with their little neckerchiefs and their scarves and their well done manicured nails and their pressed hair. And my wife just drops a pussy. My woman? Who am I, Shaft? My woman, because apparently I'm Willie Dynamite. Listen, he's got a woman for every man, Willie D. That's a pimp movie from when I was a kid in the 70s when we first got cable. I couldn't, like Willie Dynamite was on, I sat down and watched it. Blaxploitation, and I'm 8 years old, let's do it. I'm in. If Jaws wasn't on and Tommy wasn't on, I was watching Willie Dynamite. But yeah, so that's my woman. My wife drops a pussy right in these women's, just drops it right on their head. Pussy. Really? Oh, it was grand. I loved it. I laughed out loud. And then she goes, oh, I make you laugh, huh? And I go, yeah, you just yelled pussy in a restaurant. That was hysterical. Who does that? Nobody. I do that, and they call the cops. But and it literally, it was just these, I wanted, they were the kind of women where you imagined that one of them was going to faint with the vapors, like after hearing that. Like, oh, my heavens. Oh, my stars and garters. I've never heard such language. And I don't know why they talk like that. That just seems crazy. Oh. So my wife dropped that in a restaurant yesterday, so that was great. And I love her. That's one of the reasons why I love her. Yeah, it's because she can do that. And I understand why she was mad at the burlesque thing, because it was like, because if you don't know us, like if you don't know me and you don't know her, maybe it looks disrespectful that I'm goofing around and talking about my burlesque girlfriend and how I want to, stick my dick in a box of Cracker Jack and all other nonsense. And because I'll tell you, there was a girl dressed as a sailor, and she did her dance, and I put in quotation marks around dance, and she basically stood in one spot and took her clothes off, which was fine with me. I'm all over that, but it's less burlesque at that point, but that's okay. And she finished. And I went up on stage after her, and I go, wow. I go, that was a little sailor suit, wasn't it? I go, makes you want to stick your dick in a box of Cracker Jack. And, of course, everybody laughed uproariously because it's hilarious. And I said, that was patriotic. That was the kind of routine that makes you want to beat off and wipe it up with a flag. That was great. And, so I said those things. And so but those are jokes. Like, I'm being silly, right? I mean, and so if someone is stupid and doesn't realize that I'm doing that, and then they see me with my wife at the show, they might think that I was being disrespectful to her. And I can understand where she would then, she wasn't so much angry at me. I think she was upset with the perception that people might have. And I always tell her, look, you can't worry about that, because who the fuck cares what people think other than me? It's easier said than done, folks, is my point. But it's like the scene in Private Parts, the movie Private Parts, where Howard Stern's wife is in the car with 4 women from the sushi bar, the same women. And see, that's the thing. It's like Karen drops pussy in the restaurant. I mean, I could have been like, oh, well, I can't believe you would do that, and storm out. I could have been on the ladies' side. And that would, who I would have been then? I would have been Karen Monday. But instead, I rolled with it because it was hilarious. And I think she should just understand that it's hilarious. But also at the same time, like I said, it's perception. It's like if you make fun of somebody, they can maybe laugh it off. They'd be like, oh, okay, that was, I guess, funny. But if you make fun of somebody and 10 people laugh, then it's the worst. Then you're a jag-off because you've held them up to public ridicule. And I understand that the feelings become intensified with the more people that are around. So with Karen there, and then me talking about every stripper that walks off as if and playing lecherous old man, because that's what the show is. I mean, the show isn't about me going up and being erudite about the economy and taking Obama's head off for ruining my Propel. The show is about me tap dancing quickly and talking about hot chicks. That's all the show is. So it's a weird dynamic. But at the same time, I understand where Karen would sit there and be a little upset, and so. But the thing is, I never even got a chance to talk to her about it because her defenses were up and the hackles were up, and then I fucking put my arm through a fence. So, I mean, it just... But everything is fine now, folks. Everything is squared away. It became... after a frosty car ride home, everything turned out all right, I think. I don't know. I never know. Who knows? And you know what makes me laugh is, like, if she listened to this fucking show... Would she ever speak to me again? I mean, would that ever happen? If I think my car rides are frosty now. Because she's got an iTunes jack. She's got the iPod vagina in her car. What if she went ahead and just plugged that in and just put on the podcast and listen to me, and I'd be like, oh, dude. Hey, you know what, honey? You might want to skip this next 14 minutes because it's not going to be pleasing to you. Go listen to the fun story about when I was small and I broke a table and lost keys. I had to find my mom's keys. Come on. I hated being small, honey. Go ahead and listen to that. You can hear me decrying that fact. So we had our Oscar party this weekend. And by Oscar party, I mean it was me and my wife in an apartment. Because I have no friends. My buddy Pat had an Oscar party, and I kind of sniffed around trying to go. And he's like, and I love this email. This is the email. Yeah, you know what? We usually just invite everybody who has kids, and it's really annoying to people who don't have kids because the kids are running around the whole time. So you probably wouldn't want to come. I'm going to assume that I wouldn't want to come then because you told me I wouldn't. And I get it. People have kids and parents. And like I just said, Christ, I am a kid. Nobody wants a 40-year-old kid there. And like everybody, they're like, who wants taffy apples? Me. And, nobody wants that. So that was fine. So Karen and I hung out and watched the Oscars. And I got to tell you, the Oscars, I don't know if you saw them, folks. The Oscars seem kind of gay this year. What do you think? Yes? Holy God. And that seems stupid to say, let's be honest, because the Oscars are gay. The whole show is pretty much a dick in the mouth anyway. I mean, it's dancing and hopping around and people for cinematography and people thanking drama teachers. I mean, it could not be more gay until this year happened. And literally the show ended. My ass hurt at the end of that show. That's how gay the show was. It was frightening to me. I'm watching it. The only way that show would get gayer is if I watched it through a glory hole. Seriously, I could not believe the gayness. Hugh Jackman's hopping around, top hat and tails. And then, they're talking about, every year they talk about younging it up and trying to get people involved and letting people like it. And then I got to watch Queen Latifah sing, I'll Be Seeing You. Honestly, just because you add a hip hop star or a former rap star into that, it doesn't make that song any fresher. And then they're showing the people who died, and they're showing them from a distance. So it's like, I'm old, granted, I got it. But if I got to squint to find out that Swifty Lazar bought it this year, that's not much of a tribute. Fucking unbelievable. And then and Slumdog Millionaire won. I'm sure. I don't know if you saw it. We went and saw the movies. We saw Slumdog, and I was happy that they won. And the entire cast was there for Slumdog Millionaire was there at the Oscars, which was great for them, but was terrible for me because right at a half hour before the show started, I had actually called Sprint to get tech support, and nobody answered the goddamn phone. I literally, a recording picked up and said, please hold for the next 4.5 hours because everybody in our office is very busy at the Oscars. Jesus Christ. They even had the smallest kids, like the little kids from Slumdog Millionaire were there. And I can't imagine how angry Nike was that day to have to let those 4 kids go to America and not make 100 pairs of sneakers that afternoon. I picture that, the Nike corporate jet, they probably put the Slumdog Millionaire kids on it, made them sew the entire fucking trip to America, stuck them in their tuxedos, told them to smile for Ryan Seacrest, tap dance on stage, get back on the jet, and sew fucking shoes all the way back to Bombay. Oh, man. So Slumdog was the big winner, and it was great. It was great, folks. But it is a fantastic movie. See it if you haven't. I loved it. I love the way I try to make them feel better about me just hammering the shit out of them for a second. That's funny. All right. And then I was watching Benjamin Button, and we watched Benjamin Button, which was good. I loved it. I don't know why people are backlashing it. All these people are angry about it. It's like, fuck you. Yes, it's Gumpish. I understand it's Gumpish, which is I think I may have made that up, but still, Benjamin Button is Gumpish. But who cares? I love Gump too. So there you go. I enjoyed Benjamin Button, and I mean, how do you not love hot Brad Pitt? Brad Pitt is ridiculous. And here's the thing with Benjamin Button, it's like 2.5 hours long. And here's how you can mark the time of the film, because it starts, he's born an old man, and then he ages in reverse throughout the film. And he finally becomes hot Brad Pitt at about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So here's what the thing is. You'll know it's 1 hour and 45 minutes into the film, because you'll be absentmindedly beating off. You won't even know why. That's what happened to me. It was like hot Brad Pitt was there. He shows up in like this black leather jacket with a collar-up shirt, and I look down in the movie theater and I'm like, oh, I got a fistful of crank. I mean, we're about 1 hour and a half in, because I was just absent-mindedly tugging one, because I'm like, oh yeah, there's hot Brad Pitt. Yes, let's do this. Man, it's a good-looking dude. One of the best jokes I ever wrote in my life was for Jimmy Pardo's talk show. He did he and I used to work together on the monologue, and one of the jokes I gave him was when Angelina Jolie was pregnant. She had finally gotten pregnant with Brad Pitt's kid, and he was like, Jesus, how good looking is that fucking kid going to be? Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's kid, unbelievable. But no matter how good looking that kid is, he will still be the second hottest thing that's ever been inside Angelina Jolie. Oh, Brad. I loved that joke. All right. You guys can write me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can get me at myspace.com/Mike Schmidt Comedy. Go ahead and write me notes, send me letters, let me know what's happening with you guys. Go ahead and review the show on iTunes if you would. That would be great. I would appreciate it. Let the people know that things are enjoyable. I don't know what that means. That's stupid. And or write me a note, and that's great. So I can't tell you guys how much it means to me that you listen to the show every week. Thank you so much. Also go to comedyfilmnerds.com. I don't know if I will have anything new there this week, because I don't know what new movies are coming out, or if I'm going to write a column. I have no idea what's happening, because I will tell you this. I am busy because I'm doing a lot of stand-up this week, trying to put a fine point on my stand-up abilities. Trying to get sharp again, because I think this is a tentative plug, that's a really good name for a band, tentative plug. But this is a tentative plug. I think I'm doing the Comedy Death Ray show next week at the UCB Theater on Franklin on Tuesday, March 3rd. I think I'm doing it because I received an email asking me if I was available and would I be interested? And I said, yes, absolutely. Thank you for thinking of me. And I have not heard back. They announced the lineup on Thursdays. So if you go to ucbtheater.com, the Los Angeles, and check for Comedy Death Ray, or if you go to aspecialthing.com and you go there and check out what's happening, you will find an announcement. But I think I'm doing it. So I can't, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it. And I don't know any of the other comedians. So, but it's Death Ray, which is the fucking premier comedy showcase in Los Angeles. So you can bet that it's going to be a great fucking show. And then I'll also be there. So come on out and check it out. That's, I believe, at 8 o'clock or 8:30, Tuesday, March 3rd at the UCB Theater on Franklin in Hollywood. So come out and check that out. And also, again, like I said, mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com, myspace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy, and also review the show on iTunes. That would be great. And also, subscription links are available at they're available at MikeSchmidt.com/podcast.asp. So go ahead and check that out. Also want to let you know that our friend Lily Von Stupp, who has been very kind to push buttons and laugh throughout the show, is and hold up a sheet of paper. Thankfully, I did not get to 70 minutes. I don't think. Tap your wrist. We got to get you a watch. But then again, you know what? You'll know you're 90 minutes into the show if you just start absentmindedly beating off.
That's right.
I will plug this. Our friend Lily Von Stupp, you can get her at Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. And also, please remember that she is hosting the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Franklin. No, that's not on Franklin. It's on Santa Monica and Vine. Every Monday night at 10 o'clock at the 3 clubs, the Monday Night Teas show. I hosted it this week. I will actually host it again in March, but I'll do a show before then, right? March 9th I'm hosting, but I'll plug that in depth next week. But come on out and check out that show every Tuesday. And also, the Gardenia, that's still rocking?
Not till April.
Okay. Oh, the Gardenia's in April. Whatever. Go to burlesque411.com and Burlesque Nights, or what was that again?
Burlesque After Dark.
If you go to burlesqueafterdark.com, burlesque411.com, there's all sorts of burlesque information, and our friend Lily Von Stupp will be there to let you know and hold your hand in any other body part you proffer for her to grab. And also, I will tell you that Lily Von Stupp, you hear her on this show, and she talks kind of in the background, and that's nice, and she's nice to do that, and nice to not insist on getting a microphone, even though some of you insist on it. Lily was able to be on, we're at 70 minutes. Damn it. The piece of paper that said 70 minutes just came out, folks. Which means I got to wrap this up because with the music and stuff, most CDs, ours are only 80 minutes. So why am I wasting fucking time here? I got to finish this up. All right, so who am I talking to? Me. Lily Von Stupp did my friend Paul Goebel, the aforementioned Propel referring Paul Goebel. His show, The Paul Goebel Podcast. It's the King of TV podcast, or The Paul Goebel Show. Go ahead and search Paul Goebel. That's Goebel. I don't know why I'm spelling fucking everything. I'm an idiot. But our friend Paul Goebel does a podcast called The Paul Goebel Show, and his guest was Lily Von Stupp. That's Paul Goebel and Jim Bruce. Spent the entire show talking to my friend Lily, and you will actually hear her speaking on a microphone. She doesn't just laugh in the background because it's her job. She actually laughs because she's genuinely entertained and having a good time with two funny guys, Paul and Jim. So go ahead and check that out. Go check out the Paul Goebel Show and listen to my friend Lily on there. Should be a lot of fun for all of you as you put it in your headphones. Put Lily in your head. And if you also want to find Lily, if you can't find her at Burlesque 411 or Burlesque After Nightfall or whatever the fuck she is, you can probably find her trolling the adults-only Craigslist ads. Because I walked into the house today, and that's all she's flipping through like bondage domination ads and stripper ads and all, and she's reading them out loud to me. And I'm like, I don't know if you're answering them or if you're trying to get me to answer them, or if we're going to answer them in tandem. I mean, is that what are we a team now? Are we a bondage team? Because I'll tell you what, I'll beat the fuck out of a wall. Don't kid yourself. But if it starts talking back to me, that's your job. I'm out. But so then she finds this ad, and it said, literally, this is the ad at Craigslist. BJ needed ASAP. And I can only assume the guy meant he needed a blowjob immediately. And believe me, how as soon as possible does he need that blowjob? So soon that he's willing to abbreviate the entire entry. BJ needed ASAP. Yes, I guess so. If you didn't even bother to type it out, that's a guy in need of a blow. Who needs a blowjob? Look, we all want them. Everybody wants them. Everybody enjoys them. We all like them. Whether you're giving them or receiving them, I can speak for half of that crowd and tell you that they're enjoyable. But I don't understand a guy going on and typing that out and typing fury. And then she opens up the ad, and what does it say in there? It says, like, he wants to meet this person, and it says, pick for pick. Contact me here. He wants your picture. Look, dude, you don't need a blowjob as soon as possible if you need to fucking run through a visual identification of the person involved. If you need a blowjob as soon as possible, pretty much any wet hole that comes along is going to do the job for you. I would think. That's just me. If you're posting that ad, then because if you need it as soon as possible, what do you want a picture for? You don't need a goddamn. You know what? To be a smartass, we should. Honestly, Lily, you should have just opened your mouth and let me take a picture of your mouth and send it. There you go, buddy. How about that? Because I'll tell you what, as soon as possible, if you're looking for a blowjob, this is really all you should be interested in. I don't think you need to know what my fucking arm looks like or what shirt I'm fucking wearing if you're just looking for a place to stick your cock, for God's sakes. Jesus Christ. You know what we should do? We should just take a picture of a couch cushion, like propped up a little bit. There you go. That's what it looks like. Stick your dick in there, pal. Go ahead and just leave a special deposit underneath the goddamn with the change in the couch. Jesus Christ. You don't need a picture. Do you need a blowjob or do you need a goddamn scrapbook? What the fuck do you need from us right now? We want to know. This is the question we have. Because it says BJ needed ASAP. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jag-off. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jag-off. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just, I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.